Today's video was supposed to be an update on what I think is going on relative, is this a tech bubble? I did a video earlier this week and where I said, no, I didn't think there was any similarities. And the longer I thought about it and the longer the walks I took, I realized that, no, there are a lot of similarities. There are a lot of stocks that are... And I said that originally because I don't believe the stocks that I own, the big six plus Tesla, are part of that bubble. But there are bubbles, parts that are bubbles. And to name a few, I would say Nikola and Lemonade are part of the bubble, and maybe even Live On Go. What I'm saying is they aren't technology stocks, but they're being brought in and you're being sucked in, believing that they are part of the digital revolution when they're not. And as a result, there will be a bubble, and they will pull some of the big six and Tesla and some of the strong technological companies down. But that's really another issue, and that's for another video, because what I really want to talk to you about today is Tesla. And in specific, I want to talk to you is not so much about what they're going to do to the automobile industry, because I think they're going to change it dramatically. And yeah, there will be other people who will put out electric vehicles and they will profit from it, but they're not going to be the big profiter, and they're not part of where some even bigger money is going to be made. So the revolution around the automobiles is one issue. The second part is the decarbonization of the auto transportation. And that is going to be that we are going to move our dependence away from oil. So oil is not going to do well. Now, will there continue to be a place for oil? Yeah, but it's not going to be the big place it used to be. Will they survive the next 5 years? Sure, because it's going to take a little while for us all to move to an electric automobile, but that is going to happen. The other element of that is it's going to clean up our environment, and that's very, very important. And I think it's going to be a positive that is going to be part of why we're going to move in that direction. And that then is going to prolong the life of our planet. And for the most part, it will prolong your life, because not only will you be absorbing and breathing less carbons, but our medical world is going to change as well. The other very important part of this is the battery. Now, I don't know that if you know that Elon has announced that there will be Battery Day. It's now scheduled for September the 15th of this year. And he's shared that he is going to make a major announcement at that time about the battery that is used in his vehicles. It's going to be in Fremont, California, at his factory, and I believe he's going to tell you about the 1 million mile battery. To give you some representation of what that means, is the current battery in the Tesla automobile. It has an 8-year guarantee, and it is guaranteed to go 150,000 miles. What Elon's going to talk to you about is the million mile battery, a battery that he's working in conjunction with a Chinese company called Contemporary Amperary Technology, that is going to produce a battery that will have about a 10% premium cost to it, but it's going to go 1 million miles. So, and what he's going to tell you is that that battery will work in your next Tesla as well, and maybe your next Tesla as well. And this is extremely important. Now, another thing you need to be aware of is that last night in the call relative to their earnings, Elon made 2 calls out to the mining companies in the world who mine nickel. He basically said, folks, we need more nickel. We need more nickel. Find a more efficient way to mine nickel, because I'm going to need it. What he is telling you is our world is going to consume these 1 million mile batteries. Now, how is that going to be? It's going to disrupt the utility industry. What I believe is going to happen, and I can show you where some people smarter than me believe this is going to happen in just a few minutes, is that I'm going to put some solar panels on the roof of my house, and I'm going to have a battery in my garage that's going to be roughly the size of my furnace, I would think, and I'm going to charge that battery from the sun. From that battery, and this is Elon's million-mile battery, I will be able to run all the utilities other than water in my house. I will be able to supply my home with all the electricity it needs. I will probably get rid of my gas and furnace and water heater and make them totally electric and turn my house into a totally electric house. And as a result of that, I will actually have more power than I can consume. So I will sell it out to the utility companies, or I might even sell it directly to industry, who consumes possibly more electricity than they can use. Can you see what this is going to do? It is going to change the way I live entirely. Now, do I want the responsibility for all that? Well, probably not. It's probably a little above my pay grade. But wait a second. There's a company by the name of Amazon, and there's one by Google, and there's one by Apple, who are all just really anxious to turn my house into a smart home and have my home run by a voice-activated operating system that would probably be able to read the capacity that is in my battery and how much I'm going to need in the future week, and then sell it out. So that probably that system would be able to read the weather and know how much sun I'm going to get based upon the weatherman. So that would run my system. Do you see where this is going? I'm going to have my own business selling electricity, but I need somebody to manage that business for me. Guess who it's going to be? It's going to be one of the big six and Tesla that's going to do that for me. So this is what I'm telling you is going to happen. But I don't want you to just believe me. I want you to believe somebody who maybe is a little smarter to me. So let me introduce to you, in case you don't already know him, Karmath Palihapitiya. I'm sure I mispronounced his name, but here he is.
This is no longer about cars. That's the first wave of growth, and I think people are pricing in an evisceration of traditional autos and an enormous shift to EVs, of which Tesla will get the disproportionate share. So now what is the bet? If you ask me as an investor who loves that company, it was in page 4 or 5 of their quarterly earnings release where they talk about the energy business. And they said a couple of interesting things. The first is that it was profitable. And the second is that they're also producing software now that allows effectively anybody to become a distributed utility. Now think of that for a second. You are talking about one of the most predictable, reasonable businesses that have raised hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars of debt. And what Tesla is going to do with their battery packs and their software is all of a sudden allow each of us to be in the energy business as well. Again, people will get angry, they will not understand, they will try to push back, and they will be wrong. And what's going to happen is that this stock is now going to represent the totality around decarbonization and sustainability. So it was really great to own this thing around cars for the first 4 years. I did it, I made a lot of money. But now I underwrite this company as a bet towards decarbonization, towards deregulated energy, and towards the ability for all of us to become our little micro utilities.
If you don't know who Karmath is, he was one of Mark Zuckerberg's early employees with Facebook. He is an extremely intelligent individual. If I had to or if I was offered the opportunity to make a list of the 10 people in the world that I would like to have lunch with, Karmoth would be on that list. He is instrumental in the company Virgin Galactica. One of the questions I would ask him is, why would I want to invest in Virgin Galactica? And I'm sure he could answer me and give me a good reason. But at this point, I don't know why I would. What I think I'm directing you and why I'm doing this is that I got an email today from Sherry. And Sherry said to me, I own one stock, Carrie. It's Tesla, and I own partial shares of Tesla. It's going down today. Should I get out? I'm scared to death. Guess who's talking to Sherry? Her unwanted roommate. That lady who lives in her head, who tells her she doesn't know what she's doing, she isn't smart enough to be investing in the stock market, and she needs to bail and get out now. Where is that coming from? I suspect it came somewhere in her past as she was a young girl and as she was growing up, and as people were telling her she didn't know what she was doing and she's not smart and she's not capable of making decisions like that. You've got to get rid of that unwanted roommate if you want to stay in the stock market. If you don't know how to do it, read my book. It's in the description below, and I'll walk you through how I got rid of my unwanted roommate. So, Tesla is for real. Tesla is going to dominate the electric. No. Tesla is going to dominate the auto industry over the next 5 years. Tesla is going to give you an opportunity to turn your roof and the sun that's out there every day in Alabama into a money-making proposition. Will there be some investment? Yeah, you're going to have to buy $1 million battery or $1 million-mile battery, but I suspect somebody's going to come up with a way to help you buy that battery if you'll do certain things for them in return, and they will make that a money-making proposition. This is astronomical, folks. You have just... I'm not too good at a lot of things, but what I am good at is connecting the dots. And what I'm seeing here is a pattern of dots that is going to lead into a future that is going to be totally different than what you are experiencing today, and it's going to happen fast. Now, again, I need to address the bubble. Go to Wikipedia and look up the dot-com bubble, and then go to the section where it says companies. You're going to learn a lot about a lot of people that you put a lot of faith in. And one of them that I really want you to learn about is look up a company by the name of the Learning Company. It was owned by Mr. Wonderful. Mr. Wonderful sold it to Mattel for something like $3 billion. And then when Mattel realized what a lemon they had on their hand, they sold it for a 90% loss. Look it up. You need to know who you're paying attention to. He may be good, but he's not who you think he is. And then look up how Mark Cuban got all his money. There's a lot to be learned in this business. Stay with me, subscribe. I'm going to do that video on the tech bubble that we are a part of and that you need to be aware of, and what the companies are and how you can identify the companies that are going to crash and burn. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll share with you. Oh, and like this video for me, please. Thank you.